Welcome to this interview by Project Cargo Weekly. Today's special guest of honor is Steveco in Kotka, Finland. And first of all, I'd like to welcome Mr. Tapio Mattila, the Senior Vice President of Sales. Welcome, Tapio.
Thank you. Thanks, Bo.
And also I'd like to welcome Mr. Heikki Renlund, who is the Sales Director at Steveco in Kotka. Welcome, Heikki.
Thank you, Bo. Thank you.
Now, as you might know from previous interviews, I always allow my interviewees to, let's say, give a little bit of a background about how they ended up where they are. So starting with you, Tapio, how did you get into, let's say, logistics and port operation in Steveco in the first place?
It's so long history backwards, so that it's difficult to answer that correctly or directly. But anyway, it's been my I always thinking that logistics is my business. So my background is very long. So I've been working for Steveco since 1993, almost 30 years, 28 years, and my background is quite technical. Meaning that first of all, I've been working for all of our terminals and running all of our terminals, and past 10, 13 years, my main activity has been sales and the customers of Steveco Group. Okay. But before that, running all of our terminals.
Okay, very interesting hands-on career, so to speak. Thank you, Tapio, for that. And Heikki, how about you? How did you end up in Steveco?
I started 35 years ago in summer work, and I was studying, and then after that, 34 years ago, I started in our Hamina terminal, this time working as a foreman, and after that, then a terminal manager and running our container traffic in Hamina. And then after that, the project to start 2001, the new container terminal in Kotka. There I was also terminal manager, and then 95 something. So I changed to the sales department. So it's 34 years in the end of May this year when I started my career in Steveco.
Wow, fantastic! You certainly give the impression of stable colleagues for Steveco. That I must say.
That's true.
Excellent. That's really good. I think for our viewers, many are, of course, are outside of Scandinavia, indeed outside of Europe. Tapio, can you explain a little bit? What is Steveco? It sounds like stevedoring company, but can you explain what is your main job?
Yeah, it sounds like a stevedoring company, and actually Steveco is the Finland largest, one of the oldest and largest stevedoring company. We've been in this business approximately 135 years already. Wow. So before steamships arrived, we were already hands in stevedoring. But Steveco is not just a stevedoring company. We are today quite a big full logistics house. We do stevedoring is our main activities and core business. We operate container terminals in ports of Helsinki and Kotka, handling roughly 1 million TEUs per year, both of these terminals. Then we have a ro-ro activities located in Kotka, and then we are heavily involved what comes to the project cargo and break bulk activities, and there we operate in several ports. We operate Helsinki, Kotka, and our main break bulk port is Hamina, which is 25 kilometers to the east from Kotka. And then we have a daughter company, stevedoring company, which operate also in seaports, plus in Lake Saimaa area, where there is a direct connection to the sea via canal to via Russian territories. Okay. But logistics, we also operate as a forwarding company. So we are quite a big scale forwarder as well, not compared to the big ones, meaning DHLs and things like that, but in Finland scale. We are specialized for export cargo, especially out from Finland, and we do a lot of normal forwarding, warehousing, delivering, rail, road and sea freights. For example, quite typical issue is that we we handle Finnish sawn timber from the sawmill through our port, stuffing, and up to the Far East market, so that we also buy the sea freight. That's very shortly. And in Finnish, we are totally Finnish company, so we totally Finnish privately owned company, and employ roughly 850 people and handle approximately 10 million tons of cargo annually.
You're certainly a very versatile operation you have there, and with lots of experience. Of course, many of our viewers, when they look at the map and they find Kotka and Hamina, nobody can fail to see that indeed it's close to Russia, as is Finland. Would you say that Russia is a big market for your port, and you can do temporary storage, transshipment into Russia? And
yeah, we can do all that, and Russia is a very important market for us, and as the whole Finland as well, and especially Kotka and Hamina area. They used to be the biggest transit port to Russia, but as everyone knows nowadays, the Russian ports are very active and large scale, and there is a lot of capacity. So meaning that a lot of, especially the container transit to Russia, goes not anymore via Finland, but they go more or less directly to the Russian ports. But still, biggest transit port, container transit port, still is Kotka. But its meaning is not that big anymore, to be honest.
Right, understand. But at least I think with taking into consideration the country of Russia and so on, people know at least that if it goes via Kotka and Finland, it can be trusted. I mean,
absolutely correct. Yes, and we have to remember that, for example, the Railgates of the railways in Finland and Russia, the Railgates is same, so that we can take Russian rail cars directly to our terminals. We see a lot of Russian trucking companies coming to our terminal. We have all the gate systems there. We have fully automated gates, paperless gates, and also the Russian trucking companies actively use them. Actually, they are very active to use these latest digital services.
Okay, interesting, Tapio. And before you came on board, Tapio, I had a little talk with you, Heikki, about project cargo going out from Kotka. I understand that you have some of the world's largest breakbulk ship owners coming regular into your port, correct? With guys like SAL, BBC, stuff like that?
Yeah, they are calling on a regular basis if needed. So it's always up to the customer, I mean the exporter, the ship. Yeah. So that what port he decided, but yes, they are regular callers here.
Right. So that means, would it be fair to say that Steveco, you run ports in the south? Would you then be competing with other terminals? I mean, let's say there's a project coming. Steveco is of course a big major contributor there, but you also have competitors, or do you have monopoly?
Yes. No, we don't have we have competitors all of our ports where we operate. We don't have any ports that we are the only operator. Okay. So inside Finland, actually, the competition is quite hard. At the moment, but we also compete against other ports around the Baltic Sea naturally. Yes. So what are the routes? Yes, but the competition is our everyday life and has been already more than 20 years, 25 years already.
Yeah, as we say in forwarding, liner shipping and whatnot, there's always somebody who can do it cheaper, no matter what you do.
Yeah. That's true.
So even though I must say that what I hear from the market, also from conducting these interviews, as you all know, or you both know now, that the shipping market is so hot that the ship owners, I think they've never in history earned so much money as they do now. So perhaps they can pay any increases that you might have for the price.
That someone could think about that, but that's not the case, unfortunately.
No, they're prouder than ever.
Yeah, we know that in this business, we know that the fixed costs are actually quite high, and there there is a strong unions behind, and we have to live with it. We have a good relationship with the unions, and we can survive. But we have to know that the union is there and the fixed costs are there.
Sure. Turning to another solution, railway traffic via the Trans-Siberian, and since you have the same rail gauge as Russia, is Kotka Hamina kind of the end station for the Trans-Siberian train? Do we build up trains across Russia there, or how is that working?
It used to be, actually, when we go back to the 90s, late 90s, this was really big Trans-Siberian hub and the end of the Trans-Siberian Railway. But then there was a long period that there was basically no Trans-Siberian containers at all in Finland, if we mean the general cargo. And then let's say that this year it has been on the topic again because of the shortage of deep sea containers, and especially when the deep sea freight went up, meaning that now we again see these Trans-Siberian containers. Yes. At the moment, the main port is, or the main destination is actually Helsinki, port of Helsinki, where there is several trains coming weekly, meaning that especially if there is a consumer goods inside the units, then the Helsinki, because the majority of the population lives around Helsinki area, and the biggest warehouses for consumer goods are located there. But also to Kotka, there is a trains time to time. Okay, interesting. Both import and export. But if we compare these volumes to the volumes via sea, they are very little. Yeah, still small in comparison. Very small, small. Yeah. So it's actually we can't compare directly sea freight or sea voyage and the rail, because it's actually, we have now three modes. We have a sea, we have an air, and then we have this rail. Right. It's a third option. Right. So would you say that Kotka Hamina, the ports there, would be ideal for, you have a lot of storage facilities there. Let's say a customer sitting out in Singapore or Asia needs a temporary storage before shipping into Russia. That would be something that you could offer. We have to remember that this used to be one of the biggest hubs in European level. After the Soviet Union time, so there was a lot of hundreds of thousands of square meters, good warehouses were built to the area of Hamina Kotka. And part of them we have built even more warehouses, but they are for export cargo. But there is an huge existing warehousing capacity in the ports of Kotka and Hamina at the moment, which is underused. Meaning that the cargo from Far East, yes, and it's okay for coming by vessel or by train or truck, and although all big part of the warehouses are even equipped with the rails. Wow, if needed to use, but the cargo via Finland to Russia, that's mainly trucks. Right, got it. Almost 100% of trucks, if we speak about everything else except dry bulk, then it's of course rail. Since Russia is such a big dragon there to your east, I don't know if I can ask you this question. You're not straight at the border, but you're close. The customs, I've always heard from around the world that the customs in Russia, that's terrible. Are they more modern nowadays, cargo coming to and from Russia? Is it more flexible, or can they still be? Yeah, it's totally different nowadays than what it used to be. Okay. Let's say 2010, for example, when there still was a long queues from Finnish border to Russian. Not anymore. Of course, the cargo is not there in that scale, but even if the cargo would be there in that scale, there will be no queues anymore, because now both customs, Finnish and also Russian customs, they are more electronic, and so everything is going total different way, especially between Finland and Russia, because understand. Turning to the amount of vessels you handle, how many vessels a year would you say that you get into Kotka Hamina on a regular basis? Can you, Heikki, remember the figures?
We don't remember exactly.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, yes.
Yeah.
So every day or every other day you have
Every day we have several vessels.
Okay, wow.
Already container vessels only we have more than 10 container vessels weekly.
Oh,
meaning
okay.
That, meaning that then we put break bulk vessels and ro-ro vessels and
yes.
So what should we, Heikki, say? At least 20 vessel calls, more than 20 per
yes,
week.
20 at least per week,
Yeah,
yes, because we have the regular ro-ro traffic from Hietanen terminal to Europe, to German,
yes,
to England and other destinations. So there is 2 big players from Finland, Finland and Transfinnica who have the regular traffic.
Right, Transfinnica. That's Transfinnica. Isn't that Grimaldi now owned?
No, Finlines is Grimaldi.
Oh, Finlines is Grimaldi.
Yeah,
right.
and Transfinnica is more or less same with Splithof.
Yeah. So there are many choices to actually out of Kotka Hamina when you want to have your export out to the main European ports. Ro-ro, you have rail, maybe truck for sure, and you have feeders.
Yes, that's true, and this have helped our customers. This because we have choices that for example, some cargoes which have sent with containers, for example, the North America. So now they have changed to the ro-ro traffic. They can use it because there is not containers available. So they have changed to this mode. Time to time.
Yes. No, it's this whole, let's say, pandemic has really upset a lot of supply chains. And just for your both information, I visited the port of Karlshamn in Sweden a couple of weeks ago, and they have never seen so much sawn timber for export, because I asked them why, and they said because Home Depot in North America, all the Americans, they can't go anywhere, so they're fixing their houses. So and I think you see the same with a lot of export, but no containers, and of course the prices are sky high. But how do you do to attract? I mean, you're sitting in let's say a remote corner of Europe. What do you do to make sure that the world knows about you? Do you attend exhibitions? I mean, when they're on, do you do marketing for your port on an international scale?
Yeah, it's depend where you are looking from. We think that we are the center of universe.
Of course,
here.
Yeah.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Our problem, if you would like to say it, is that the population is very small here in Finland, meaning that and we have a very strong industry, especially food processing industry, machinery. And things like that, meaning that the imbalance is quite huge between import and export, and we have a lot of export cargo, but not that much import, meaning that especially for container liners plus some others, this is creating some gray hair naturally. So that's why it would be good if we could serve more Russian cargo via our ports as well. But yes, we do a lot of exhibitions. Globally, mainly in European continent of Europe. That is the main target. You're right. Yes, we try to get more and more import cargo as well.
It sounds like a smart move, and I certainly believe that you have a service-minded setup, and you are quick. And of course, like you said, depending on the location, we all think that we live in the center of the universe. And I live in Stockholm. Don't ask the Swedes; they all certainly think this is the center of the universe. And I'm Danish, so I don't know what to say. But anyway, but listen, this is very interesting to hear. So one of the final questions I have. So you are in just to be clear, you are in Kotka, you are in Hamina, and you're also in Helsinki, right?
Helsinki as well.
Right. So these are the three, let's say, main ports that you.
Yeah, correct. If we forget these lake ports, because there's quite a big lake ports, like in Sweden as well. We do have these where and they are connected to the sea. So if the vessel is loaded on the lake area inside inland of Finland, the same vessel can go directly to Germany or or
yeah.
to UK or wherever.
Okay, yeah, that's of course an interesting solution. I mean, how would you say that the future plans look for your port? Are you going? You have cranes, you have all the facilities that you need. You are not. Are you embarking on any new, let's say, investment plans for your ports?
Yeah, we are. We just Heikki can tell more about latest warehouses and what we have built for handling wood pulp especially. But machinery, yes, we have to follow, and we actively follow the latest developments what comes to the machinery, because the customers are more and more, they want us to use more and more environmental friendly technology, meaning that we have to buy a new machinery all the time and get the latest technology. The biggest investment plan is of course the cranes.
Right.
And the crane capacity and number of cranes, and especially height and outreach of our container cranes. That is the limitation at the moment, and what we are struggling with, and we have a plans.
Okay,
Go ahead with that.
Of course, and of course it costs money. It's big investments, and there's a certain lead time. So, but certainly you are at the forefront. You mentioned that, Heikki. Could you say something about the warehousing capacity? You mentioned you are investing in that as well.
Yes, there is going on the project that it started 3 years ago. That they bought of Hamina Kotka Limited, so they built a new quay and opened a new area for especially for the pulp operations. And there is one 20,000 square meter warehouse now operated by Steveco for our customer. It's full of wood pulp at the moment, and there is close to this warehouse there is built a new quay. It's a little bit more than 200 meters long, and now in the coming summer, so they will start to build more quay on the same area, and then they have also land there available, and there is plans to build more warehouse capacity also for the pulp operations in the coming years.
Nowadays, the big issue and the big benefit in Kotka, especially what comes to the pulp, is that when the pulp is already in the warehouse, the customer can still decide that whether this is going to be shipped in containers or break bulk.
Right.
Because nowadays they are more or less in the same terminal. So that is the great benefit.
Yeah, it certainly gives some flexibility for the exporter. They can wait until the last minute, right?
We have the break bulk vessels, so they are loading both to the European market, and then there is a bigger vessels which are loading straight to Chinese market also. Break bulk, loose bales or loose units. They don't need to use containers for this traffic.
Right. Got it. I was just thinking about the environmental thing here. So, would it save time to paint all the cranes green? Do you think? No,
they are already green, by the way. Our cranes.
Okay. It was just a shot in the dark. Okay, but that's very good. Excellent, Tapio and Heikki. I must say, it's been great to have this chance to talk with both of you, and a very direct style, and I like you've answered all the questions I could think of clearly. I want to say first and foremost formally to you, Tapio, many thanks for joining.
Thank you, Bo. It was nice to discuss with you.
Likewise, and also to you, Heikki, many thanks.
Thank you.
So to all our viewers around the world, I want to say this was another great interview with Steveco in Kotka. And we had the honor of speaking to Tapio and Heikki from the port of Steveco, or the port of Kotka, Steveco company. And please do follow them on either on LinkedIn or contact them directly for any business you might have. And for Project Cargo Weekly, thanks for me, and follow us for future interviews in the nearest time. Thank you.